Next topic I want to get to. Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett has taken a job with the Timberwolves, a front office position, and he also is gonna get his jersey retired eventually. They said either this season or next season. So, as far as the Timberwolves go, and that's the best player in your franchise's history. I mean, Anthony Edwards is, I'm sure he got something to say about that. But for now, Kevin Garnett is the best player that's ever put on the Timberwolves jersey. So he's one of the greatest players of all time. He's a Hall of Famer. So I know he had him and the former owner Glenn Taylor had a big problem with each other, and he said he would never accept a jersey retirement as long as Glenn Taylor was the owner. So I can understand that he's standing on it because if it's fuck that nigga, then it's fuck that nigga. That's straight up. So he stood on it, but now they got new ownership. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Laurie, I'm pretty sure, are the new owners. So they got a different relationship with him, and he's been more receptive to it. And apparently they got to the point where he feels like he can fully, ingratiate himself back into the Minnesota Timberwolves fan base and into the team. And eventually they said within the next 2 seasons he'll get his jersey retired. So I think that's huge for the Timberwolves and for their fan base. It'll be it'll be good to see KG back out there. KG, he's one of the biggest. He one of the biggest. If you could have somebody in your corner to cheer for you, KG one of them people. You know what I'm saying? So that'll be big. I think that'll and who knows, that might give the team some extra life because they kind of floundering right now in between being a play-in team and being a actual team that makes the playoffs. Let me see where they're standing at right now. I'm pretty sure last I looked they were sitting at 6. So we're gonna see how they can handle it. They're sitting at 6. 19-10. We got the Suns under them. They got about 3.5 games on the Suns, but they tied with the Rockets, and they're about a game behind the Lakers. They sitting in that middle pack. I don't know if this is gonna propel them or anything like that, because it always comes down to what's actually on the court. And right now, they just kind of they don't know who they are. I think they're still trying to find their identity, and I think you got some players that are kind of aging out, like Mike Conley, and eventually Gobert. I think Gobert will be out of there soon too. So you got guys, and then you don't know what you're gonna do with Julius Randle. You got Rob Dillingham. He's young, but he don't really get too much playing time. You got a lot of young guys. So is this the type of team that over the next few years takes a step back because they have to go young? They got Jaden McDaniels. They got Anthony Edwards, and that's about it. If we're being honest, that's about it. So I don't know what else. And they got Julius Randle, but you don't know what you're gonna do with him. But so this team's kind of in between phase. So maybe KG coming around to get the fans something to watch while their team is getting put out in the first round. So yeah, interesting. I'm good for the Timberwolves, good for KG, because he wasn't getting his jersey retired with the Celtics. And I always think, it always sucks. It always sucks when you see a great player who probably won't get their jersey retired, but they were great for an organization and they deserve to get a jersey retirement. That kind of goes into Chris Paul. I'm not going to get too much into Chris Paul. We're going to talk about Chris Paul tomorrow with Siaka, but it's the same thing. It's like you got all these players who they're great, but will they ever get their jersey retired? Like Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin, he's not a Hall of Famer to me, but he should have his jersey retired by the Clippers because he's the most exciting player to ever play for the Clippers. Probably one of their best players. I mean, I don't think he's the all-time leader in anything, but maybe he probably up there in points. I'd say top 5, probably in their points. And that Lob City was an era. So I think if anybody deserves a jersey retirement, it would be a guy like Blake Griffin. But they brought him in to show him his jersey retirement and all that shit. And then they traded his ass to Detroit. So You can't trust these motherfuckers. But it sucks that Chris Paul probably won't ever get his jersey retired anywhere, because he never really was anywhere else that had the type of years he had with the Clippers. So for KG to finally be able to get that jersey retirement and be honored in that way, because that's probably the only team he'll be honored by. I'm sure he's been honored by the high school team already, but that ain't the same as the NBA. LeBron's going to have that same kind of, I don't know. This motherfucker's had four separate careers, it feels like. So I don't know if the Cavs want to do it. He's the greatest player in the Cavs history, and he did help bring a championship to Cleveland. So I feel like you kind of have to off the strength. I don't know if he's going to get a statue or nothing like that, but he definitely should get his jersey retired. I don't know if the Lakers would retire his jersey. The only way I see the Lakers retiring his jersey or giving him a statue is if you win another championship this year. That's it, because this is last year in L.A. So we going to see about that. But he's another guy who's like, the Heat ain't going to do it. It's only been on 3 teams, so the Heat ain't going to retire it. I feel like the Cavs are probably the best option. And the Lakers, he's been with the Lakers about 6, 7, 8 years now. So if he could win another championship, I think they would consider it. They would heavily consider it. So good for KG. Good for KG.